Okay, Janome MC9900 owners, this video is being made to show how to add 3 names to a hoop in the embroidery mode under the monogram section on your Memorycraft 9900. First, I'm going to go to the settings. I'm going to go to embroidery, and I'm going to scroll to the 6th page. Grid size. I'm going to change the grid size from 10 millimeters, which our grids that go in our hoops, these grids are 1 centimeter each or 10 millimeters each. I'm going to change it to 30 millimeters and press OK. This is going to give me a big area to work with. I'm going to go into monogram. I've selected the Cheltenham text, and let's see, I'm doing medium so that I can get more space out of my hoop. And I'm going to type in a name. Capital, small, I don't think I can get any more on there, but I'll try. Oh yeah, okay. And I don't think. No, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 characters. So I'm going to hit OK. This loaded it into my 140 by 140 hoop. So I'm going to go to Edit. I'm going to change it to my large hoop. I'm going to pivot this, make it go the long way. I'm going to move it to the top of my page. Whoop. I needed to select OK there to release it so I can move it. I'm just going to move it all the way up to the top of the page. And I'm going to duplicate it so I can add more to it, because that's not the complete name. So I'm going to hit the 2 pieces of paper here, duplicate, move that second one out of the way. Look for my 1, 2, 3 button that's available now, go there. Go back up to the home screen, select my monogram, and it's still in the same font type. Alright, so it's capital, small, and I needed to finish spelling that name. I'm going to add that name. Whoop, release it from the 1, 2, 3 so I can move it. Rotate it 45 degrees, or 90 degrees, I apologize, that was 90 degrees. Alright, so I'm going to move that one to the line so I can line it up. And it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, space is 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 characters. So 5.5 characters need to be on the left side of the line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I need to move that up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And a half. So half of the Y needs to be on the left side of this line. It's pretty close. Alright, so now I'm going to highlight this. I'm going to slide this up. I could move down a little bit. I'm going to slide the rest of this up so it matches up. I just don't want it to touch the P because then it'll just run in together. Alright, so it's tough to see, so I'm going to hit OK to go to the main page to stitch out page to see it. Looks like it's touching, so I'm going to go in and edit, and I'm going to, and it's highlighted in green. I'm going to slide it one away. Now it's not touching the P. The O and the P are not touching. That looks good. So I'm going back into edit. I'm going to highlight that one I duplicated and get rid of it. Find my trash can. And I'm always looking on the wrong side of the page. Delete that. Now I'm going to save this all by itself. I'm not going to try to work with all three names at the same time. I'm going to do one and remember that I put it on the top of the page. And then do a second one in the middle, and I'll do a third one on the bottom. Alright, so basically I've already gotten some saved in a folder here. I'll just call this one DP because it's a duplicate, and hit OK. And save. Alright, so I'm going to exit. Say that I went in and did all three of my names just like that one, except I put one in the middle and one on the bottom. I did them one at a time. So now I'm going to go back into a new edit. I'm going to go into my file folder, and here's where I stored my three names. Here's one name, and I did this name towards the bottom. Now I'm going to duplicate that so I can bring in more names that I've saved. Duplicate it, move it over here. Now I can go to my 1, 2, 3 button. Now I can go back to my folder where I stored all my names. And this has 2 pages, so if you don't see it on the first page, it might be on the second. This first page of info is usually small hoops, but it shouldn't matter. They should all resize to the next one. Okay, so here's the second name, Jane Doe. Alright, so I'm still able to go into the third name, go into my file folder again, and go grab that third name, which was Johnny Pops. There's the one I just made. So I got all three of my names. I'm going to release the 1, 2, 3 button. I'm going to go in and delete that duplicated one and throw it in my trash can. And there's my 3 names. Not really evenly spaced. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to move them. I'm going to move, well, this is the middle. So this one would have to actually, these letters, top of the N and the H, would have to actually be moved down to this. So I'm going to, and it's in 2 pieces, so I'm going to have to do it separate. I'm going to carefully move that down. Alright, so these letters are touching the top of this line. Hit this one. I'm going to have to move that one down as well. So those are hitting the top of the line. Okay, so they match up. And this name, which I was able to get the whole name in there, we're going to move up so that the bottom of the ends and the W is resting on this line. Alright, there we have it. So now these names are all equally spaced apart on this. And this is our large hoop. So this is going to fill the hoop with these 3 names. You could very well use the small hoop. You more than likely would not want to use the largest letters, because on this particular font, the Chatham, whatever it's called, the letters were almost 1 3/4 inch tall. So once you load that into a 5x5 hoop, that's not going to give you much room to get all the name in. So you can play around with it and practice. I would buy a flat white top sheet and just buy some cheap embroidery thread or some overlock thread just to practice with. You can always use a top stitch needle, a gold tip top stitch needle, or a titanium tip top stitch needle with cheap thread. That'll save you from breaking your cheap thread. But that's how you would, or how I would, add 3 names equally spaced and get their full names in, even if they're in 2 different sections. This way allows you to do that. I hope this is of some help. Thank you.